A whole lot to talk about this morning as we begin the first leg of the conversation. There's been a serious battle for the soul of Osadebe Avenue. Who takes over the reins of power after November 2024, when this administration must hand over the baton of leadership to the next governor of the state. But the question is, with the serious contest going on right now, how will the road to Osadebe Avenue look like? We'll be looking at all of that this morning, as we'll also look at the current ban of the okha activities in Edo State, where the governor of the state has said that anyone parading himself as an okha will actually face the full wrath of the law. I have with me this morning in the studio Ambassador Comrade Kelvin Isesele Bosu. He's a businessman, he's a global analyst and a grassroots politician. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Welcome. And of course, sitting very close to him from my extreme left is Comrade Collins Bakare Omarege. He's the YPP State Publicity Secretary. Good to have you on the show, Comrade.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
All right, let's quickly take it from your end, Comrade Bakare. Looking at the political atmosphere in the state, it's getting heated already, according to some persons, and it seems like the election is just tomorrow. Looking at the whole preparation and the intrigues, what is your assessment?
Well, again, let me say good morning, Edo, and good morning, ITV. Basically, there are quite a divergent situation going on as we speak in the road to Edo 2024. But however, the electorate are anticipating for a good governance, and they are also doing their best in terms of registrations, because quite a number of married of Edolites who just clock 18 and above that have not been registered. You go to a polling unit right just now, everywhere is crowded. I think that ended yesterday, but we also got feelers there will be extension as a result to the turnout in Edo. So that shows some level of preparedness and readiness to installing a leadership that will care and serve the needs of the people. I think that for me is something that needs to be recommended and things that needs to be given appraisal. I also want to use the medium to encourage Edolite. They should not just stop at the point of registering or getting their PCV, or rather engaging it to bringing in or bringing on board the right leadership for the next election, governorship election. Of course, there are still other myriad of issues that is happening, that is expected anyway, because when elections is coming, there are quite some, some dynamics that comes up, that plays out on the street during canvassing of, canvassing for one's principal or canvassing for one's party. But I think apart from the peculiarity of all these, happenings, I would say that is a thing that is a welcome development. Having Edolite turning out to getting themselves registered, and I also know that based on the hunger that is in the land, they are going to channel their their participation and right. That is something that needs to be commendable.
You're talking about channeling their participation and right. You think nobody will be induced by the current hardship faced in the country?
Exactly. But I think even the hunger, as it were, is also a kind of an instrument that have been weaponized on the people in order for them to sway them to vote against their own will. Okay. But I want to see encourage the average Edolite, no matter your state, do not sell out. do not do what is not what your children will not be proud of.
All right, let's quickly get to Comrade Bosu. Looking at this current administration, their gains so far, no doubt some persons are of the school of thought that this government have performed, while others are saying this government have not really touched some aspect of the economy, and some have said that infrastructural wise some zone has not really benefited from this administration. What's your assessment on this current administration?
Good morning.
Edo State.
As of today, I will not judge the current government by MOU system of government. I will speak directly based on things that are visible even to the blind and laudable even to the deaf. Yeah, the government of today cannot actually single out one new infrastructural development across the 192 wards in Edo State. I am not talking about renovated, already existing structures. Because government is supposed to be a continuation. Where you stopped, I continue from there. If I construct a road from Uzanama to Sugbenu, after my 8 years I left office, you are expected to continue that road from Sugbenu to Uzari. But when you start reconstructing the same road from Uzanama to Sugbenu in the name of remodernization, you are wasting taxpayers' money.
So that's waste of fund.
That's total waste of fund. Business-wise, you will scare investors away because you are rigmaroling in one particular area or sector. I want to believe the current government has also failed in managing political reality from political fiction. And what I mean by that is, even when, as far as you are my friend, you are giving me food, I should also deserve some form of respect in eating the food you have given to me. In this case, the government has failed. He has not managed the people well. He has not also managed the economy well. This is why a person like me, in my own personal opinion, I did not agree with this present government.
Okay, so you don't align with the vision of Governor Godwin Obaseki?
I wouldn't want to make mention of the name Godwin Obaseki because I am from Edo Central, from Buhari community. I am trained to respect elders. But the government itself is not run by just one person. Government have parasites. Government have branches. In my opinion, I will use myself as an example. I have a mini company. If I give my manager a job to do and he didn't do the job well, and I decided to overlook it, both of us are failed. But if I decide to take action, I'll allow the people to believe that I actually delegate power to this person. He refused to do the job well. For this reason, I am firing him. Look at what he has done. It does not align with what I asked him to do. This is how government work. This is how private organizations also work. But here in Edo State, everybody in the sector, as far as the government is concerned, have failed. The only good thing about this government, they hire people to defend them on social media, to sing their song of praises, to kind of make you believe that the job is on internet. They will tell you, go Edo Gist, you will see number of jobs that have been created. We are in Edo State. I should be able to visit the office, not just to Google it. So when I visit the office and what I am seeing on Google is totally different. And I begin to wonder, where are we going?
Okay, let's quickly get to Comrade Bakare. Have you landed on your thoughts? We wanted to add something else there. We'll return back to you in a moment. So how significant is the gubernatorial election for the future of the state, especially development and governance?
Well, we all know that every political order is always animated by the general will of the people. And as a result, the importance or the significance of a new leadership for a better governance is quite very, very important. Of course, for any development to come on board, the personality per se is something that is you cannot just throw away. That is why when in selection of the personality, we look at a whole variables of characters, attitudes surrounding the individuals, as it were. And even looking at politics as it is today, you cannot just talk about it without even looking at it from the history angle, the morbid situation that surround politics as it relates to democracy and all that. Everything are geared towards bringing about development, infrastructural, industrializations and advancement of the cause of a community or society. So leadership is key. That is why I think there is, I think Plato says something. He said that the element of the human personality prefigure the class structure of a state. And that also you can justify with the John Saliburi of the 1159. He said that the physiology of the human body and the state can be compared. So when you put this together, you cannot separate the individual, the personality from the development that you wish to see. We are all seated today. It was as a result of the human, ideology. You are what you wear, you are what you do, you are what you see around you. So everything about governance goes around the individual, the personality, as it were. Okay. That is why you see today, we, for instance, in our own, party, YPP, we were so concerned about the person we are presenting, someone with character, someone that has some record of, that does not have a record of theft and, someone that have not found himself in the public mismanagement of public funds and what have you. Someone who have tried for himself, who started small and is in an admirable stage today. So for us, I think when it comes to leadership, electing of leadership is something that people, we don't need to take it for granted. Okay. Now, going back to history again, the great Greco-Romans, with the items, in the form, in the way of them to seeing development, that was what initiated democracy. They gathered together, though with the exclusion of slaves and all that, they gathered together with their able men and all that. They discuss on who should champion the cause of governance, as it were. Okay. And that has, that have gradually metamorphosed into the democracy of today. Okay. Even if the democracy of today have been challenged with a whole bunch of issues and what have you, wherein people are jacking the situations, as it were.
You came prepared this morning, I guess. So we'll get back to you in a moment. Let's get to Comrade Bosu. Should Edolites vote individuals or should they go for the party? Is it difficult to separate party from individuals as far as this election is concerned?
Well, as far as Edo State, Nigeria, even the word democracy is concerned, election is not about individual. Election is about political participation. In my understanding and in my own opinion, you cannot see the candidate of YPP on the ballot on election day. The picture is not there. Even the name is not written there. what you see is the logo and the party name. So practically, you are voting a party. That is where in advanced democracy, you talk about party manifesto. You don't have individual manifestation. You talk about party ideology. In America, for example, we talk about Democrats and Republicans. And we all know what Democrats stand for. And we all know what Republicans stand for. When you are Republican, a Democrat see you and know the core values you represent. When you are a Republican and when you are a Democrat, a Republican see you and know the core values you represent. But back home, we see party politics as a mercy, where even the political actors do not even respect the manifesto and guideline, nor the constitution of their various political party. This is where we are having challenges in Nigerian democracy today. People feel bigger than the political party. Even some people, as at today in Nigeria, feel even bigger than the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But in reality, as we speak, Edo people will go to the poll and vote a candidate that they know is humble, from a very strong, hustling background, tested, trusted, and reliable. I would not want to talk about party that way. But as we speak, there is hunger in the land. But hunger is not the only alternative to reject a good candidate. Hunger can be subjected to many factors. We have hunger of the mind, hunger of the brain, and hunger of the stomach. Which of this hunger is affecting Edola the most? I can say hunger of the mind, because the politicians have brainwashed majority of their followers in doing things they were not supposed to do during electionary campaigns. But as I speak, a candidate that have been tested is who I personally would like to support.
Okay.
I believe the party manifestation, he will carry it to the later. Even if those before him do not respect the manifesto and the ideology of the political party.
So you are saying in a way it will be difficult to separate candidates from their political parties.
It is not even possible, not just difficult. You cannot separate a candidate from a political party, because the political party produces this candidate.
Because in the presidential election, some persons said we voted for this person because of his personality and not because of the party.
And at the end of the day, those who trended that part lost the election. Majority of those who trended that part, and we know where they come from, and we know who are they.
Okay.
But let me tell you.
Tell me quickly before
in Edo,
so that we can get to
in Edo State today, the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, the APC, Senator Modio Pewolo, I will only say brief thing, please give me.
It's not.
You're
not campaigning.
I'm not campaigning. I just have to tell you what makes him different.
No, that's the campaign. You have to. You subscribe.
Okay.
And come and
let
take
me
special
put it,
time.
Let me
have enough time.
Let me put
and
it
talk
this
about
way.
his candidacy.
The candidate
let's get to
governor.
Let's get to Comrade Bakari.
Will be the one that care for the people.
Okay, let's get to Bakari.
As we have done in the past.
What do you think are the major concerns of Edolites that the incoming governor should address? There seems to be so many issues, so many problems staring at the faces of Edolites. But what do you think can be the major issue the incoming governor will address?
My brother, without naysaying, let's bring it down without using vocabulary to cover truth. The people are hungry. Unemployment has increased. As I speak to you, companies are packing up because they cannot afford energy. Even the reliable BEDC is no longer reliable. When they come with their billing, you can't even chest it. Diesel is on top of the roof. Even the provision of the state government electricity is not even friendly to business. Talk more on the individual. So along the line, I think a government that wants to succeed must address the issue of hunger. For instance, if federal government, for instance, gave 2 billion, purportedly gave 2 billion to cushion the effect of hunger, it will be proper for a government to reach out to traders in the market. They have a way of reaching out to them. Why is it that it's only in election they have a structural way of putting people together, reaching out to them, and having data of these people and information of these people when it is time to disburse funds for them to hold them to go and do their bidding in the field? They have a way of reaching out to the people. But when it comes to how to alleviate the suffering of the people, they lost count on how to channel resources that would bring about, the cushioning of suffering of the people, of the masses. They lost it. Now, for instance, it does not stop a government to reach out to like 5 major markets. Reach out to the trade union, then break it into groups. Those that are selling different items and all that, reach out to them, have a kind of a town hall meeting, subsidize their food, also have a meeting with the farmers that is bringing those food and what have you. Even if you can get a vehicle for security personnel to move around the state, you can also have a vehicle that can bring food from our farms.
Produced by the government.
Yes, produced by the government, because we are talking about the people. If the people you are administering, you are governing, they are not smiling, they are hunger, it's going to resort to what's it called now? Insecurity, to social vices. It's going to result to a whole lot of things, myriad of challenges in the society, wherein it will also become a problem, a burden to the government.
Okay, talking about problems now, the government has actually banned the activities of okha in the state, and the anti-cultism bill has been passed. What says you? Some persons, there have been a lot of reactions since this anti-cultism law was actually passed recently by the state governor during the state executive council meeting, when they had a closed-door meeting with senior personnel of the military cadre who came together and have a meeting with the governor as far as the activities of okha is concerned, and they were actually they were fingered in some activities in the state that has been wreaking havoc. What's your take, Comrade Bosu?
First and foremost, I will want to, before I make comment on laws and policies, I always want to read the guidelines in affirmation with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But by at large, the governor has spoken, has made a decree. As at this moment, I think that degree should stand, where others evaluate the paragraphs, the articles, and where the law emanated from. If it is constitutional, or it's just a decree, or it's just an executive order. So I think at this junction, I wouldn't want to say much about that, because I'm yet to understand where the law is coming from.
If it's a decree, it shouldn't be debated. If it's an executive order, it shouldn't be debated.
Yeah, because if
it's constitutional,
we will now look at the laws. We'll look at the Constitution.
Okay.
They will now subject it to interpretation.
Okay, the last time I checked, I thought you were a politician and a businessman. So you're trying to speak like a legal person here now. So help us back at it. What says you? Is it timely? We would have had this before now, according to some persons. Why bringing it into existence now?
My brother, and we always want to look at matters the way they are.
The matter is on the table.
And how it affects us as a people. when you are abolishing a body that puts food on people's table, I believe there should also be an alternative for that very abolishment of that office to be, given a kind of something that will subpedal whatever suffering that will come out of it. If you know how many persons that sustain from the abolish Akarele, but that is not to say that their practices is holistically good. Of course, every human being, where there are human involvement, there is bound to be mistakes. You understand how you look at those mistakes and how you profile solution to them. That is governance. You don't just say because you are pain, because you have injury in your finger, you will cut it off. For instance, now that looking at it, putting it side by side with the courtesan and what have you, the stopping of Okarele, do you think it has totally solved the problem of courtesan? That is another question. The answer is no. Courtesan still continue. So
they would have gone with their activities. Okarele would have still been in existence.
My brother, to be honest with you, with or without Okarele, courtesan will continue. Courtesan have always been, and it will continue to be. We are only praying God for those that are in court, that are courteous, to come out of it, because of what the antecedent, what is peculiar with it. You cannot be joining something that will kill you. You understand? Even the law enforcement, it has been alleged that there are some of them that are also part of it, even in the government.
But you don't have this proof.
I say some. It is alleged.
These are weighty allegations.
I use the word alleged.
Weighty allegations.
Sir, I don't use the word alleged. You understand?
Go ahead.
So these are the challenges. So if you want to solve the issue of courtesan and the issue of Okarele, I think it's not something you just wake up one morning and just say we stop so and so and throw people into hunger. Okay. Then throw people out there on the street. They will resort to other medium to
okay, Ambassador, if they will resort to other medium of creating more harm, will it affect the forthcoming election? How will this impact on the election? Negatively, positively?
Let me quote our former military president, Abacha, 1998 or so. He said, if insecurity persists more than 24 hours, the government is involved. That's my answer to courtesan in Nigeria and in Edo State at large. But the election, I don't think it has any effect on election. Because even what they call them Okarele in Edo South, that has been disbanded, allegedly disbanded by the state government. Many of them belong to different political parties. They already know where they will vote for. Those who are, sorry to say, those who are from the government party will see it as a good thing for them. Because the governor and the party will still recruit them to mobilize people for them in their various communities. Because money will be involved.
So in a way, they are still existing.
While those, they are existing in another form, not longer Okarele again. While those who did not belong to the government party, who still have contact with their political party. If my friend, who is Okarele in a certain community, believe my ideology as an APC man, and he wanted to vote for APC, removing him as Okarele will not stop him for not working for what he believes in. So therefore, I think managing relationship is the worst problem this governor have had. You don't just throw away the baby with the water out of anger. He is my brother. It's today my first time of knowing him. I wouldn't just say he has done something. I should use what he has done to affect every member and ESCO of NNPP or YPP. You have laid people off their job. fine and good. You can still recruit them to do another job. Even pay them more. Very soon, most of these Okha names will appear as SSA. In less than 3 weeks.
Sorry, sir. Can I butt in there?
Let him quickly look it up. Where you come in.
They will appear as SSA.
You think so?
It's not that I think so.
You've seen the list.
By the special grace of God, I am a grassroots politician.
But not in this government. Okay.
You don't understand how the game works.
You have to teach us now.
I will explain. I'm teaching you now. What I'm teaching you now is this.
Okay.
The people who are, some of them, majority of them, who their job have been terminated today, many of them will now go to negotiation table, where either contract, SSA, SA, or any means of appointment will be given to them.
Okay.
For them to see themselves still relevant within the premises of power.
So is it a case of
to
people now?
I doubt after election if it will continue. Because we have this system of use and dumb. I have a cousin, I'm sorry to say, 2023 proto election, he's from my village. They gave him a supervisory councillor to the local government. That was January 2023. February 25th was presidential and national assembly election. Immediately after that election and the House of Assembly election, the council was dissolved. The 1 month he worked, he was not even paid salary. We understand these tricks, but when the time
honorable off the
our
mic.
people no, the mic is still very low.
Okay, let's get to Bakare. Bakare, you wanted to add something.
Yeah, what I want to ask, looking at it holistically, what is the word, the connotation of Okagele? The word Okagele simply means head of the youth. And can you actually do without the youth? If you cannot, then can the youth exist without having a ringleader? The question is no.
But the government is saying we don't need them again. They are not relevant.
They might not be relevant in the wider scheme of your own perception, but they are relevant in the scheme of their community. Because where you have the Odionwere that cannot access certain journey, there will always be someone to send and someone to monitor the affairs of what goes on in that very community. And that is where you have a youth leader that is coined in the form of Okagele. You understand? So it's not something that you can actually just say, let's abolish and let's stop the practice. You understand? It can be something, it can be a practice that has been said that, okay, it has been abolished in Edo State. But on the net, we still continue. They do their stuff in their community.
Some opposition parties are saying this is not a good step in the right direction, owing to the fact that election is just few months away from now. And you actually leaving office as the governor by November. Why enact this law? It is too soon. What says you?
If you say opposition party, I doubt. Because a reasonable opposition party will not jump into this matter and said election is too close. Because if you want to judge it by our thinking of electionary process, our thinking, the way we do things politically, it should be an advantage to the opposition.
Yeah.
If you want to put
in what way?
If you want to put it in a political perspective.
So let's put it now.
Bam. Reality speak. If you disband these people, they automatically become jobless in political scene. They have no job again. What are they supposed to do? An election is just few months. They will pick tent with the opposition, just to out this current government and maybe his proposed predecessor. Politically, it would have been on the advantage of the opposition.
Okay.
But you know, government have a way of coming, naming, renaming, programming, and reprogramming. Very soon, they can come up with a system like this: community youth security network. They can come up with something like community association programming. they still make these people the head of that association, just to be able to use them for the purpose of election.
Okay.
All these tricks are known, but the overall interest of Edo people, the ordinary voters like me and you, will not dance to this particular music the Edo state government is playing.
Okay.
We know this, we know it will come, but the strategy to make sure it works in their disadvantage is what the opposition parties should think.
Okay, Comrade Bakare.
Utilize.
Comrade Bakare, most of the candidates on the ballot, they are freshers. Some of them, they just got to politics recently. Some were not really active politicians before now. And there's this spirit that seems to take over politicians when they get to office. They might tell you we are doing X, Y, Z, and when they get to office, reverses the case. Now, what parameters should Edolites put in place to get the next governor that will succeed Governor Godwin Obaseki?
Well, the parameter that should be put forward, I want to say that he cannot really 100% be put forward by the ordinary man. It is only God that actually searches the heart. We can only look at the outward and give some credit and kudos and draw our distinct conclusion and say this person is the right person and all that. Maybe based on their antecedents and what they have done over the years and looking at their history, their background, how their impact in their society, in their, in their profession and other areas of adventure, But for me, I think you don't sleep with people. Even the person you live with in your own house, you cannot still beat your chest for that person and say if he goes there, if he gets in there, he is not going to change, he's not going to do something else. But what we want to say is that in all of this, no matter how bad a community, no matter how bad a people, you still need to entrust governance in the hand of a person or in the hand of people who will manage the affairs of the of the state or of the country, as it were. For me, what I see is that for me to trust you, I should be able to have some level of dealings with you. If I don't have dealing with you directly, I should be able to know someone that I've had some dealings with you, who can tell. For instance, my own candidate, I've had dealings with him in the past. He's a firm and very pragmatic person, and when his business is business, you have to go by the agreement. So when you fall short of the agreement, it doesn't matter, you can go to court. You understand? And for me, to other person, they might see him as someone that is so firm and so too serious to do business with. It does not have human face and all that. But if you want to really have a leadership that want to mean business, that want to do something for our people, it must be someone that is actually astute, someone that does not take tolerance, someone that is very committed to the business of the day, as it were. That is why if you ask me now, I will say even military regime it seems to be better than the civil rule that we are in now.
We've had 25 years of unbroken non-interruption.
Of course, what do we have in the civil rule? What we have in the civil rule in our democracy today is, you see, corruption have gone high, and corruption is ripping us to a point that we cannot recover.
Ambassador Cecily, let's now look at it this way. What should the traditional institution play? What role should they play in shaping the election?
Before then, let me quickly say this. Yes, your first question to him was, there are newcomers in this game.
A good number of them on the ballots.
Yeah. We also have ballot-tested ones, who have gone into election, have won election, who understand the principle of winning election, the dynamics of also losing election. When you put those things together, you discover many of them are still novice. Well, I don't underrate novice politically, but I sure know many of them will not see the light of the day politically.
Edo light will determine that.
No, you see, when you talk about structural, when you talk about structural, in Nigeria, votes are directed. I keep saying it. I said it here, one of the program here. People don't want to agree this reality. He's from YPP. If you want to be frank with himself, we know votes are directed. How are votes directed? He is a leader in YPP. He has a family. One of his daughter or child or brother may decide not to support YPP. He has the mantle now as a YPP leader to deliver his own family for YPP. Even against some of them, which he can only lobby them. At the moment you lobby someone, he has already gone against his wish. He's not doing that because of him. Likewise me. Likewise every other leaders out there. So therefore, votes are directed in Nigeria. When we talk about candidates, we should look at people who have had track record, scorecard. What have they done before? What are their history? Or what background are they coming from? In their private individual life, what assessment can you give to them?
Okay.
You must look at a candidate that have a scorecard. A candidate that he can tell you as a private person, as an individual, I have been able to do this for my community, even as small, as little as it could.
Okay.
A candidate that will be able to tell you, in my journey of life, so person, so area, I have been able to affect their lives.
Okay.
These are the history we should use to judge this election.
Okay.
And in that regard, my candidate seems to be the best.
Well, like
because I can tell you, not bad community development as a private person.
We have to hold you in the jugular here. Like I said, if you want to campaign for anybody, you go through the appropriate channel and you have a field day. But let's get to Abuja, where my colleague is standing by to join the conversation. Tolulokpe, good morning.
So, I have a couple of questions right there for some of the guests right there in the studio. And it has to do with the fact that when we take a look at the quality of the candidates that are vying for different positions right there. But what about the power of incumbency to also be able to sway vote in support of one candidate or the other? Is it possible for people of Edo State to stand firm and look at what the candidate brings to the table than allowing the power of incumbency to tilt to tilt the vote in favor of a particular candidate? What do they think of this?
It's open now. So which of you is taking the shot? Bakare, Ambassador, who's taking this?
I think I was on
go ahead. Go ahead.
To respond to that question is what I was discussing. That Edo people will look at a candidate with track record. Yeah, I might have done business with him as an individual. But has he put himself before the public as a private person, before even government? The opportunities you have had in life, because all fingers seems not to be equal. How have you affected lives within your jurisdiction? If we go to your village as a candidate, can the people testify your goodwill to them? These are some of the questions. You know, in 2023, I learned a bitter lesson politically. I discovered most of the people engaged in politics. Some of them do not actually know what is even happening in their village. Many of them don't even travel to their village. But when they need something, they come back to the village. The same villagers you have proposed in your mind, witches and wizards, suddenly become the people you hug. You are no longer scared they will charm you. You are no longer scared if they touch your head, something will happen. If possible, you kiss the keys.
I think
the child of the poor man, you drive on the way you don't want to see. Because of election, you are now back home.
Okay.
We need candidates that grow up from home. When we mean a candidate that has this kind of tremendous goodwill across his friends, community and neighboring communities.
Okay.
This is where we are heading to, and this is what we give.
I think all the 17
victory.
of them have villages, and they all have traces.
Yes.
And they have roots where they came from. Let's return back to Tolu again. Tolu is still there. Tolu, we are still with you, Tolu. Okay, we'll be getting across to Tolu in a moment. Now, what do you think the youth should be doing at this point? Because to an extent, when it comes to dirty job, it's the youth that carry it out. When it comes to hijacking ballot boxes, you hardly see aged people doing all those dirty work. When it comes to disrupting electoral process, it's the young persons that are actually found in this act. What's your advice to them? How should they play by the game as far as the election is concerned?
For the youth, before I look at the into the youth, politics, as it were, as much as they struggle for power, politics is also all about authority and power sharing. And when you talk about power, it's all about men controlling men. Now, for the youth, over time, we have always engaged the youth at every, opportunity we've always had to engage in them. And like I said, the youth have become, they have become vulnerable to bad government. They have become vulnerable to all manner of mischievousness from leadership. And as a result, they are no longer thinking straight, but rather they resort to quick earnings, to immediate gratification, to something that can put food on their table, as it were. And as a result of that, you cannot have a sane society of youth coming from a sane society because of these variables that are challenging our society. But in all of this, if you say that in analogy that all youth are evil, all youth are bad, they resort to all social vices and what have you, you might be very wrong. There are still sane-minded youth who knows what they want, who knows that, okay, it is time to do what is right. And it is even that brought about the formation of the same Young Progressive Party, where you have large chunk of youth, coming on board to say that, okay, let's rewrite our nation. We want to be part of the history of our nation. Okay. We cannot be existing today and our old fathers that are already in the grave ideology are still striving. It only shows that we are in a country wherein our brains have been suspended. For you to have a system that is still running, that was drawn and set up by a people who have aged, who have even gone to the grave, and as a result, what they are put on ground is not producing the desired result. Okay. It only calls for a youth, a sane people, a sane youth, who are intellectual, who knows what it is, whose mind is working. Like my brother said just now, he used the word poverty of the mind. But youth whose mind is working to now say, let's change the narrative. Let's, look at where our fathers stopped, what they have done so far. They have done their best. For instance, sorry sir, let me just round up. Yeah. Let me round up with this. For instance, it is a slap on Nigerians to have a government of the day taking us back to a national item that have been forgotten. I'm telling you, it does not reflect in the harmoniousness of beauty of a music, of a national item within the covers of musicologies or what have you. It does not fall within that region.
I didn't know you're a music director.
My brother, we have little here, little there, little here, little there. Okay. That is the truth.
All right, let's quickly get back to Abuja now. Let's link up with Torilope. I think this one now will be coming to Ambassador Bosu. Torilope, we are with you.
You talked about achieving a desired result. And one major thing that's been at the center of discussion concerning the Edo Gubernatorial election is to do with zoning. There has been talk about the candidate, the election being zoned to a particular zone or the other. But do you think at this point in time, zoning should be a yardstick, or the quality of the candidate should be paramount on the minds of Edo people as we are going to this election?
Yeah. Over time, I've said it in many platforms. I am not an advocate of rotation of anything. I believe the best should do the best. But in Nigeria settings, power rotation is like my family is going to take their own share from the national cake. Because development over the years has only favored the region that produced the person in power and political power. My brother have just said, power is merely an opportunity for a man to rule over man. If peradventure you visited Edo North before 2026, before 2006, I'm sorry, 2007, our Senator Adam Soshomole came on board. When you go to Yamo today, you will tell the difference. When you come to Edo South now, even the small drainage gutters the current government is doing is restricted within Oredo and Ikobauha.
You think so?
Not that I think so. I talk with facts. I'm a realistic person.
These
are facts.
You have these proofs.
I have the proofs. Yes. The drainage is currently the drainage is currently going on now. One is at Boundary Road, the other one is Ihama, the other one is at between Etete. These are Oredo and Ikobauha within his own jurisdiction of origin. I can first tell you the only visible road that was done in Okada of their southwest stroke of their, it was the time Gubernatorial was the governor. Now people cry power should shift to the other side. In Nigeria, when Buhari became a president, even the minister for transportation, who was from southern part, went and put the University of Transportation in the north, Katsina, the Buhari's home state. Ordinarily, ideally, if it is not because the president is from that place, that minister that I know will not do that. Look at the appointment in that government.
Okay.
It was sessional.
Okay.
Coming back to this present government.
Quickly wind up now.
Coming back to this present government. 96% of appointments so far, 60% are from Southwest. So this, in my opinion, form the agitation for rotation of power.
Okay. All right.
That is why I am from Edo Central. Also want a governor to come from my place, not just from Edo Central, from my own local government, if possible from my family.
Okay, let's allow Tolu take the next one now again. I would have want to ask if we should sacrifice competency at the altar of power rotation. But Tolu, go ahead and hit it on Comrade Bakari now.
Looking at going further, looking at the way things are right now in Edo State, as we're looking forward to this election and putting so many permutations into place and some of the things. What are some of the basic things we should be expecting from whoever emerges as the governor of Edo State at the end of the day? What are some of the basic things an average Edo person wants to see to make life easy?
I think the question is just asked now, have been addressed before now. But before I button into that, let me quickly just give a retrospect, or let me just look into what my brother said just now. I think what the electorate needs, they need a people-oriented government. A government that is devoid of tribe or sectional politics. A government that wants to bring about, a socio-economic development across board. That is why when we talk about this kind of question or topic just now, we'll look at certain personalities who have done relentlessly too well for this nation and for this state. In the person of Le Samuel Ogbemudia, who was then Midwest, governor, He did, you could see development, you could see industrialization across, but even down to Delta State. He didn't say because he was from a particular section. The same thing where he's also bequeathed, the same character is also seen in the embodiment of late Ali. He didn't say he was from Edo Central, but you see development was across board. Those are the kind of personalities you want to see in government, regardless of where you are from. You understand? Now, what the people of Edo want, for instance, it does not fall short of employment, good energy, and at least something that will ameliorate the suffering of the people, so that they will not have the best and jackbarring or leaving the country. As we speak, the number of people leaving the country are skyrocketed. So if we have, for instance, if it continues, a time will come, you will have nobody on the streets. Because everybody must find their way to the Western world.
So me, I'm still here.
You are still here, but you don't know what people are considering. If ambassador is already considered, do you think if you had the opportunity and I had the opportunity, and you also are given the opportunity to replicate what you are doing here, to do it there, that you will not leave?
I will do it better here.
Okay.
I will do it better here. I'll do it better here. You want to still add anything?
I don't really have much to say.
Japa, because we are still with
Japa or no Japa.
Yeah.
I believe home is home.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this country have been unfair to us.
Very
very unfair, especially in this democratic era.
Okay.
Have been unfair to us.
Okay.
But a candidate will come that will be fair to Edo people.
In Edo State.
In Edo State.
All right, now let's quickly get you in our Comrade Bakare. Help us. Should we sacrifice competency, professionalism, and someone who actually have the ability to take the state forward on the altar of power rotation?
Well, for me, it's a no-no. Because I've seen situations where even a member of a household will neglect his own parents, and you will see someone whose parents has rendered some level of help to, he will be the one to always come in to, to severe the parents. They will even be there more than the children. So it therefore means that this thing has to do, it's like a spirit. You know, when you talk about nationalistic spirit, people having that nationalistic spirit to bringing about a transformational agenda across board, this thing is inborn. For instance, a leadership that is not centered on love will always misdirect the purpose of leadership, and they will not be looking at other flimsy, looking out for flimsy factors like zoning, taking it to so and so. A man that actually have the mind of God, that want to see, that knows that the people's voice is the voice of God. Regardless of whether they are from so and so region, if they want to make sure they bring about a turnaround in that region. So I'm not in for all that jargon.
Talking about having turnaround in the election, in the previous election, the presidential election, some persons felt their voice wasn't heard. They felt their vote didn't count. And now, it's going to be, this is a state election, which seems to be even more tougher than presidential election to some persons. To an extent, you have the APC at the center who are in charge of the federation. You have the PDP at the state level, where you have the incumbent governor as a member of the People's Democratic Party. We also have other political parties. But for these younger parties, they are saying, we don't want any unfair treatment for us. What should be put in place for INEC and every other stakeholders to create a free, credible election?
Well, when you want to talk about free, fair, and credible process, you look at the dynamics and you look at the political actors and political parties. I do say the Nigerian youth, Edo State youth, cannot perpetuate political violence without the collaboration of the security and INEC.
You think so?
In my opinion, I have participated in elections. In my opinion, when people talk about youth being used for electoral violence and other malpractices, I really do not buy into the idea, because if you want the election to be strict, deal with the security, deal with the INEC. Let me tell you, I cannot leave Oredo local government election day to go and snatch ballot box in Okha, just 5 minutes drive, without the collaboration of security. it will never be possible. Because of every election, you are bound to stay in your unit and vote in your unit. But you cannot drive from this primary school to the next primary without meeting checkpoints. How were you able to beat those checkpoints? Security lapses. On the other hand, if I went to Orebeni Primary School and steal ballot paper, the presiding officer in that unit, the INEC, or the EO or the SO in that ward, have a right to minute that, and there will be no result from that place.
Okay.
But if I went and bring a result and they announce it, so it is the INEC and security that we have to concentrate our attention on.
Okay.
Then secondly, competence, capacity, they are good. But let me tell you, in my own dictionary, my own book of thoughts, be very intelligent, have wisdom, be smart, have capacity, without goodwill and love, everything you have done is
okay. We've been seeing.
So therefore, we now have to look for those who have compassion.
Okay.
People who love his people. Someone who is humble to the core. That will not say because Mr. Bakari went on ITV and said something against him 10 years ago. Bakari have capacity to lead the Ministry of Youth and Sport. I will not give to him. We need people who will look at your face and say, yes, you were fighting for the youth. In the course of fighting for the youth, you made a statement that challenged my position to do the right thing.
Okay.
So therefore, your statement should not be used as negative description for you as a person.
Okay.
We need one who can stand up and say,
let's quickly move now so that we can.
I may not know you, but I love you.
Okay.
That word alone.
Let's manage. We have few minutes now to begin to wind up for the next segment. Comrade Bakari, to our next one, we've been seeing lots of people pitching tents. We've seen cross-carpeting, which happens to be the nature of politicians according to some persons. This alliance, pitching of tents, cross-carpeting, and moving from one political party to the other this period, how will it influence the election? How will it impact on the outcome?
In fact, it's going to impact and influence the election massively. Now, there is something that even the existing ruling party in the state is not paying attention to. That they just throw it, they just throw it as if with a wave of a hand that it does not matter. It matters because whether you like it or not, if one person leave a political party, that one individual is equal to a 10 person who is leaving you. And these are there are a whole bunch of heavyweights that are even planning to leave that you don't know. I can tell you for free that a week to election, you are going to be seeing some dynamics, some changes as it were. But all that is only expected because of interest. And where there is interest, there will always be violence. There will always be politics of force maintained by power and order. Okay. And that is in tandem with what Obesian law of nature states. That when two people struggle for the same thing for which they cannot enjoy at the same time, they tend to kill themselves by their own selves. That is why violence can only be managed during election, but it cannot be totally obliterated.
Okay.
You understand?
Now, you'll be speaking to the candidates and the electorate. What's your advice to them? I'll come back to you with the same question. Should they play by they need to play by the rules? The electorate need to follow the guidelines strictly. What's your take?
The candidate should approach the people with love and compassion, and the people should see love and compassion over grammar, jingles, campaign theories, campaign speeches, campaign advertisement, and what have you. They need a candidate, when he say one word, it means love. When he say two words, it means I love you.
Okay.
No matter how a husband is rich and wealthy, tall and handsome, without the word of love to his children and the wife, the home become an anarchy.
Okay.
We preach love, we want love.
All right. Quickly, Comrade Bakare, let's have it.
Well, for my own admonition to the candidate is that,
and the electorate.
And the electorate, no matter the intensity, no matter the height of level of shenanigan and maybe misuse of words, they should understand that it's only a game. What is only expected is that they should play by the rule, and the government also of the day, I want to also encourage that no matter what, I know they have vested interest, but they should be mine in all front to making sure that there is a transparent election, there is fairness in the election, and the people are safe during their casting of vote, and they should not give room for inducement. I'm just begging, because that is the only way people will have a free will to choose who they, or to vote who they feel like.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Comrade.
Thank you.
Collins Omoroge, for being on the show. We sincerely appreciate you, the YPP State Publicity Secretary, and of course, Ambassador Comrade Kelvin Isesele Bosu, for also being on the show. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.